I'd like to talk about hidden or disenfranchised grief. But before we jump into that, I would like to say hello. I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. And if you're here for the first time, you're more than welcome. Please pull up a chair and let's have a chat. So, hidden or disenfranchised grief. I'd like to look at these three words separately, first of all. Let's have a look at grief. Grief is a natural response to the loss of someone, or to the loss of something, or to the end of something coming to its end. All right. Hidden, when it talks about hidden grief, this is refers to when society around does not acknowledge that something is possibly grief worthy, or that there is grief at all. All right? Disenfranchised really refers to society not giving someone the right to grieve for whatever reason, and I'll go into some of those. I'll give you some examples as we go on. Okay. So, where might we see hidden grief? Well, let's say if a couple experience child loss, experience miscarriage, let's say, okay? And let's say if this is really early on miscarriage. Now, for that couple or that family, it could be a massive loss and could be very, very painful. But for society around that couple or that family may not see it that way, and may not see it as if it is a massive loss. And therefore, that couple may experience their grief in a very hidden way, because they can't, or they don't feel that they can publicly mourn the loss of their unborn child. Okay. As I say, especially when it's early on miscarriage, because then I think people don't. There's nothing to see. There's no visible pregnancy possibly there for anyone to sort of see or acknowledge. In which case, it could be hidden grief that couple is experiencing. Okay. Stillborn. Having a stillborn child, that couple may experience the same thing again by society, where society doesn't really acknowledge the extent of the grief that couple is, or that family is feeling. Okay, so it could be very hidden that way. Being estranged from a loved one or from your family can be a form of grief that you may experience grief symptoms, but society may not see that, and it may not be seen by others around what your loss is and how you're feeling that loss, how you're experiencing that loss. So society is not seeing that. Right? It could be things such as losing someone to dementia, and you might not, because you still see that person there, for their loved ones, for their family members, it could be a big loss for them. They are slowly losing that parent possibly, and they've lost that parent possibly years before they actually physically lose their parent. And we see that, don't we? So again, hidden grief due to that. Okay. And then there's unresolved loss due to more sort of ambiguous loss, if you like. It could be due to missing person. It could be that someone has gone missing and you are grieving the loss of that person, where society doesn't actually see that because it's unresolved. There's no so there's that. There's loss due to overdosing or due to suicide, where society doesn't read it that way, and in some cultures, when it comes to things like such as suicide, in certain cultures, certain religions, suicide can be seen as the cardinal sin, and in which case certain communities can brush things like that under the carpet and don't want to disclose anything, and families can do that too, in which case it can be very much disenfranchised grief, where society does not give permission to grieve that loss. And that's very sad. Okay, very sad for the people who are experiencing that loss. But we do see that. Death of a pet. Now, when it comes to pets, for people that have pets, it can be a family member for them. Someone on the outside could see it as, okay, your pet cat's died, can't you just get another cat? It can be seen that way, but for that person who's experienced that loss, it could be that pet was everything to them, and that pet was, their lifeline. So for anyone else to judge that is just not the right thing to do. And in which case, if society is not going to acknowledge or see the importance or the extent of that pain and grief, again, hidden grief, okay? Especially if you're around people that just don't get that, okay? Death of an ex-partner, that's something that, we could see where society, that person was maybe gone long ago, in which case, why are you grieving the loss, the death of that person, whereas that person might be still the father or wife of your children, perhaps, and you feel a sense of grief with that. So yeah, absolutely, but it's not seen in society, perhaps. Loss of a job. Again, the person who's experiencing it could be a massive thing for them, but it's not necessarily seen in society. It might not be seen as, grief worthy. And also coming to retirement might not be seen as grief worthy either. But for that person who's lost that job, or that person who's, coming to retirement, who hasn't got anything else in place, that could be, very, very painful for that person to experience. So yeah, hidden grief. Yeah, so there's lots of things there, lots of examples given. How might it affect the person then if that person is experiencing hidden or disenfranchised grief? So they're feeling pain which is not acknowledged by society and by people around that person, or they're not given almost like the right to grieve for whatever reason, and that might be due to faith, it might be due to cultural reasons in certain communities. So that person could be affected with, it could lead them to depression, anxiety, disturbed sleep. Yeah, they could feel very isolated in their grief, and very much alone. Because they can't share it with anything. And if their sleep is being affected, then their diet could be affected. They could feel very fatigued all the time. And, that can really then go on and affect their physical health and their relationships as well. So there's lots of things it could lead to, just on the basis that people aren't tuning in to what that person is experiencing. Okay. So, things that that person could possibly do who is experiencing hidden grief or disenfranchised grief is, again, I do come back to journaling, and journaling is a good cathartic exercise that we can practice, and we can get better at it as well. So writing things down, writing those emotions and what you're feeling and experiencing, writing them down, getting them out of your head, out of your heart, onto paper is quite a cathartic and a helpful method of dealing with hidden grief. Yeah. Again, talking therapy is something that, possibly you can turn to. CBT, EMDR. So there's lots of therapies out there, professional help that you can maybe turn to if you are experiencing hidden grief. Okay. So I hope the content of this video has been of help to you, has been of some interest to you. Hidden grief is a thing, is something for us to be mindful of and look out for. And if you found the content of this video helpful, please do comment, please do share if you feel that you know somebody who is experiencing this and it might be of help, this video might be of help to them. Please do comment, please do like and subscribe. That's really, really important. We need to build numbers in order to build this community where we can help one another and where we can build this platform, if you like, where we can, share and look out for each other. So thank you so much for coming into this video and giving it a watch. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So please look after yourselves and please look after your hearts and souls. Thank you so much. All the best.